This month, CNN Philippines puts the spotlight on women who have greatly contributed to our society. Every 3 years, the Outstanding Women in Nation Service or Towns Award is given to Filipinas who have helped shape the country's future and served as a catalyst for development. In October, another set of awardees will be honored. And to tell us more about this, we have in the studio two of the past Towns awardees, former Pag-ibig Chief Executive Zoraida Amelia Alonzo and Teresita Angsi, the founding president of Kaisa para sa Kaunlaran organization. Good morning, ladies, and welcome to New Day.
Good morning, Ria.
Tell me a little bit about the Towns Award. How did it start, and why did this organization feel it was important to recognize women in this way?
Well, women holds half the sky, as we say, and it's important that we recognize the services, the sacrifices, the efforts of the women. They're always the worst victims, the first victims in times of conflict, in times of war.
In 1974, just to give a history of the Towns Awards, I think the Alliance International decided that it was time to recognize the women. As Tessie said, they hold half the sky. So the first batch of Towns awardees happened in 1974, and this comprised of the late Senator Leticia Shahani, Justice Flerida Romero. So we feel that they have really inspired a lot of women. Like, I was inspired by them when I read about their awards, and I never expected that I would one day be an awardee of Towns.
Well, you were both awarded in 1992, so I can ask you, for you, what makes an outstanding woman?
Well, I would think that a woman who serves as an example, who inspires, and he contributes to the improvement of the lives of other people, especially the women, would be considered an outstanding woman. Someone who looks at her work, not just as work, but as a mission, something that's larger than herself, and, you know, with the end in view of really improving the welfare of other women and contributing to the nation's development.
Ms. Teresita.
I was awarded in 1992. That was long before I got known or infamous for being an anti-crime advocate. That's why I appreciate the Towns Award most, because that was before the anti-kidnapping. You wouldn't want to be awarded for fighting criminals. But I was awarded for cultural integration. I've done research, I teach courses on the Chinese in the Philippines. The award was more in recognition of our cultural and educational work to bridge the Filipinos and the Chinese Filipinos so that they can serve in mainstream society to tap the potentials of the Filipinos who identify themselves as Filipinos first, but of course recognizing their racial origins.
Well, you mentioned that you are an anti-crime crusader. For you, how would you say women are being treated in society today, and are they able to get justice whenever you know, a crime is committed on them?
That's probably one of my longest struggle. For 40 years, we've been trying to work on reforms in the criminal justice system. There are a lot of horror stories, especially for women, who don't get justice. It's not just women, it's in general. Now, the Supreme Court is doing its best lately for doing reforms for the past probably decade, but it's slow. No? People are very stubborn to change and reforms. It's a very slow process, but we hope we will get there soon.
Right. Certainly, these awards do shed light on achievements, and I guess as well on things that need to still be worked on. Right? So the awards are happening in October. If, you know, any of our audience members have women that they would like to nominate for a Towns Award, what is the process and when is the deadline of submission?
All right, I think that's the reason, you know, we're here. We'd like to invite as many women or, you know, groups who believe that an individual is worthy of being awarded the Towns. So we have opened the search, and the deadline for submission of applications is is on June 30, and the awards will be done in October. So anyone who is between the ages of 21 and 50 years old would be qualified to be nominated and who has visibly contributed to the field that she is currently in.
All right, and there's no minimum number or maximum number that you need to give the awards to. It's really based on the merit, is that right?
Yes, triennially, the Board of Judges decide on how many of the women nominated would be worthy of the award. And so during our time in 1992, Tessie and I, there were 12 of us. There would be years that there would be 10, years where there would only be... How many were the first batch? I think there were less than 10.
Yeah, there were less than 10.
Yeah, the first batch was less than 10.
And very strict criteria. I think the key word is nation's service.
Nation service.
Your services should be for the nation, no? Not to serve any politician or serve any self-interest groups, but for the nation.
Serve the country. All right, thank you very much for spending time with us this morning. That was Ms. Mel Alonzo and Teresita Angsi.